Bruce Lee is quoted as saying, "A teacher is never a giver of truth. He is a guide, a pointer to the truth that each student must find for himself. A good teacher is merely a catalyst." My name is Suriel Garcia. I am making this video for my personal virtues assignment for my college course, Ethics and Advocacy in Education. I will make time to discuss my personal virtues of teaching amongst four domains: civic, moral, performance, and intellectual. I will also be discussing applications of those virtues in a classroom environment as well as strategies for character formation and development. Please excuse the strange format for as I am uploading this video to my YouTube channel, which I barely touch. And if any of my current students are watching this at the moment, please give the phone back to your parents. Alright, let's get started, shall we? For starters, from the civic domain of virtue, I chose authenticity. One thing I learned from working with children over the past few years is that I personally despise phony behavior. It's not that I see it as immoral, if not so that I see it more as a moral no-no. The feeling is not exclusive to children though, but to colleagues as well, and superiors, administration, whatnot. I have said many times that I can't fake a smile, and if I forced a fake smile, I would simply be lying. When it comes to any superiors, in terms of for like any other profession like management, one thing I do not like is when people fabricate enthusiasm. Um, Sometimes fabricate enthusiasm comes off as disingenuous. Uh, Personally, 80% of the time, I will feel as animated as a Jim Carrey character that you see in the movie. But nothing good will come if I display phony presentation. The other 20%, I feel that it is okay when I'm having an off day that I come off as monotone, as long as I communicate my grief, because most of the times when I'm not in a good mood, that's exactly what I'm experiencing, grief. So that's why authenticity is important to me, because it keeps me from sounding disingenuous. For moral virtue, I chose righteousness. I don't mean righteousness in the biblical sense, but I mean righteousness more in the integral sense, meaning to have integrity. For me, righteousness is to do what is right for the sake of doing so. No other reason, just that it's right. Uh, Meaning living by a moral code. In my opinion, it goes hand in hand with authenticity. I don't see it as righteous to do something wrong because those around me do so. No matter the circumstance, what is right is right, and what is wrong is wrong. And displaying righteousness, in my opinion, I feel encourages individuality amongst my students. Next is the virtue of discipline. Discipline in terms of performance. And it stems from mostly my background as a student athlete and also someone who grew up with a tough father. Tom Brady is quoted as saying, "Winning is a lifestyle." I believe that striving for excellence should be, and for most likely is, a daily routine. Every day should be approached like it is a challenge. Thus, overcoming those challenges leads to our improvement. Life is supposed to be a constant state of learning. As life keeps moving, you approach challenges. It makes it harder to move, but because life keeps moving, it gets stronger. And I think that's what discipline is. Um, when possessing discipline, when kids are disciplined, students are disciplined, adults are disciplined, when anybody is disciplined, it makes it a matter of principle to also be authentic and righteous. So when someone is disciplined, that thus you're also authentic and you're righteous. Sometimes the right thing to do is difficult, but that should never be a deterrent to do what is right. For the intellectual domain, I will expand on curiosity, the virtue of curiosity. Simply enough, I desire to attain knowledge because I am curious. For example, like if I see a list that says top 10 most controversial books, my knee jerk reaction is immediately I want to know what's in the books. Um, And as a teacher, I would want nothing more than to encourage curiosity amongst my students, as I feel that it will be the source of their desire to learn. And I think that's what a good teacher entails, is that you give your students a desire to learn. Personally, I am an atheist, but so I do not believe in the idea that we are all the divine image bearers of a higher power. But I still possess a conscience within which I discover that I'm capable of empathy and courtesy. Regardless of knowing or not whether it comes from, just because I don't believe in God does not mean I'm discouraged that there is a God. I still have a sense of right and wrong, and with that moral compass within me, which it's stated that the only evidence for consciousness is consciousness itself. And with that moral compass, I desire to navigate towards what is right all the time. This is why I see righteousness as my strongest virtue when it comes to teaching. I personally do not believe that children should see me as a role model, but the fact remains, it won't change that as an adult in their lives, that they will see me as a figure of sorts to model some aspect of their lives towards. So, because I'm a teacher, the very minimum is that they model their academia towards what I show them. So, if there is one thing I must model for them daily, it is to be righteous, as that opens the door for them to be independent and self accountable. Character formation can be defined as the long, complex process that takes place for a person to become who they are. As I stand, or in this case, sit, because I'm on the chair, sit here today, it is a result of the fact that I live my life, in a literal sense, live my life for the past 24 years. And what fascinates me about working with children and having taught children for the past 3 years is that for children, they have the smallest foundation for their character formation. Like when working with children, most of the time, I would often be entertained by them because a toddler would be my joke would be that they just got here. Um, Whenever they're feeling impatient, it's because them being at a school for 8 hours. 8 hours is a huge fraction of their life compared to mine. That's why these children need guidance, because they're in such an early stage. You're building something that is just going to that may not manifest until they're in their later teen years, and even then they might not be ready. Some strategies for character formation could be like embedding character exercise into daily routines, like when they follow the daily schedule, how they come into the classroom and how they leave, the transition periods, and how we do basically every check mark or checkpoint, I should say, of the day has to have some character exercise embedded into them. Also, I'm more of a believer of making learning more play based, especially for younger students. And I feel that that is key for as long as you implement some critical thinking or social skill lessons for them to take up, because it's the most important part of play based learning is the learning. And also taking up learning opportunities to integrate cultural values and lessons to reinforce identity and tolerance. For students of a particular age, poetry may be an excellent forum for character formation, as per the study conducted by Jena Kuriakose and Jena, according to a 2005 study, 25 study they did. I will link the study to the description, but basically the study says combining poetry with rational emotive behavior therapy is a great strategy to have students express their inhibitions. They can confront any negative or difficult thoughts and better communicate what they might be experiencing. Through the RABT model, writing poetry supports cognitive reconstruction and can assist in regulating emotions, thus fostering positivity, which many children desperately need. And for my final point, I want to address my own character development as a teacher, a future educator at that, or a current educator, as I currently work as a paraprofessional. As someone who is looking forward to a career in education, I do seek further development in my own character formation. One thing that I've learned from the veteran teachers, the teachers who have done it for the longest and who have the most experience and have the best results. It is mesmerizing to see a teacher with immense experience handle themselves and navigate the intricacies of the profession because teaching is one of the most thankless and unappreciated jobs in the world. And in order to become the best, you must learn from the best, and that is precisely what I intend on doing.